Hello everyone, this is Gabriel, the Forex Helper, and I'm here with one of the first courses in a series of different courses that will come. But this specific course will have several videos associated with it, and it will all be part of our Win University courses. So I'm very excited to get this particular course started. And this specific course is designed to help, especially our WIN members, our wise investors within our network. WIN, our wise investors network. The members that are part of our network, it's specifically for them, but it's also for anyone else out there. If you're watching this video and you want to understand how what are the benefits of placing your trades long term. And this is a very important video because if you're used to the videos I've made in the past where I've showed the successful results of holding your trades long term on the MetaTrader 4 accounts, then you're pretty much used to just seeing the results. You're used to seeing the fruit. Here's the plant phase, you know, which represents the actual growth of a seed that was originally planted, and that seed was planted way back here somewhere. Okay, and there was no growth, but until the the element of time, starts to take place. As a result, there will be growth, and so that's pretty much the principle. It's basically the principle of seed, time, harvest. Okay, so in other words, seed plus time equals harvest. And that's just a basic, excuse me, that's just a basic principle, universal principle. And the good thing about it, the interesting thing about it as well, is you can apply it to the economy, to the financial markets. You can apply it to a lot of different things, and it will ultimately result in profits. Now, we do give signals and we do offer advice on the Forex market, but we also offer the same signals in every other market. So, in other words, you can use this in every financial market. Now, let's move on. And I kind of went ahead of myself, but let's look at some reasons why we should invest long term. Why choose long term investing? One of the things you're going to find is this: especially if you're new to the online trading world, you're going to be bombarded with a lot of different information, especially information mainly geared towards short-term trading. Okay, short-term trading. And with short-term trading, there are some pros and cons. There are also pros and cons with long-term investing as well, and I'll talk more about that, not in this video, but in future videos. But what are the benefits? What would be one of the reasons why someone would choose long-term investing, let's say, over short-term trading? One good reason is you're going to find a lot of consistencies. You're going to find higher consistencies, and you're going to also find more accurate results. So one of the things you're going to realize in this series, you're going to see a lot of consistent high profits. I remember when I came out with my earlier videos, a lot of people would ask, wow, how did you get so many pips? But I would, of course, tell them the way that I would get those pips is that I would place the trades and hold those trades. But one of the things that stood out was the fact that I didn't only have one trade on those videos, but I had several trades running at the same time. So I had multiple trades, different assets, and almost all of them were in profit. You might have maybe one or two that weren't in profit, but I'll explain more about that, why that is. But the reason for that is because once you place an asset into the market and you allow that asset, or I should say, you allow the market to do what it's supposed to do to that asset, you'll find that over time, the market is just going to do what it's supposed to do. It's going to do all of its testings, but as long as you're going in the right direction, you'll find that the starting point will always be different from the ending point. And the most important thing is just making sure that you're in the right direction and you've made the right move. So all the other outside elements will just do what it's supposed to do. The one important thing is you have to make sure that you don't interfere with the process unless you absolutely need to interfere with the process. And I'll talk more about that. But you'll find that the accuracy and the consistent accuracy and the high profits, the high yields are usually the result of long-term investing. Also depends on what asset you invest in, but that's usually the case on average compared to a short-term trading. And the good thing about it is it works for any asset in the market, okay? So remember, it is a universal principle and it can be applied to any asset in any financial marketplace. One of the things that we want to understand is this. We don't ever want to complicate things. I'm going to do this in a way where during these videos and during the progression of this series, the the learner will be able to understand that basic concept of seed, time, and harvest. That's the best way I can explain it without really going into too much detail right now. Now, understand this, that number one, every asset has a value. There's always a value attached to an asset. Okay? Doesn't matter what it is, it will either appreciate in value or it will either depreciate in value. Remember that. And once you determine the right direction, then you can make your move. As long as you determine which direction that asset is going, will it appreciate or will it depreciate? Now, some of you may ask, well, I don't know how to make that determination. And that's where the experts come in, and our business, our educational system, the resources that we provide pretty much helps in that area. So if you need extra help, contact us and we'll be able to help you know which direction any asset is going in any market so that once you reach the last final result, you'll be in profit. Um, you're definitely going to have to learn how to hold on to your trades throughout the whole process. You're going to see different processes take place, ups and downs, ups and downs. It's normal. Now, this is where most people usually fail. Is once they get to this step right here. This is where they interfere because of a lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding, a lack of wisdom. Remember, our network is geared for wise investors. Now, you may not be a wise investor now. I talk about it in my ebook. I wrote an ebook back in 2017, and I highly encourage you to read that ebook so you can understand how the market works. I talk about what it takes to become a truly wise investor. The name of the ebook is Easy Forex Trading. I will be doing a series on that ebook as well. And I'm also working on a revision of that ebook as well as another ebook so that many of you out there who don't understand how the market works, you'll be able to understand how the market works. All right. Once you reach your final destination, then you'll be able to collect on your profit. Ultimately, that's the final result. Remember, when you participating in the market, it should only be a means to an end. Just the means, just the method by which you attain a certain goal. It shouldn't be the whole enchilada. It shouldn't be your whole focus, your whole end game. Okay, your whole end game should be something else, but this should help you reach that destination. This is the vehicle to help you reach your destination. This is the tool to help you build what you're planning on building. Keep that in mind. This is not the actual destination itself. This is not the actual building itself, but this is the method by which you will use to reach your goal. Keep that in mind, okay? Once you reach your goal, once you obtain that profit, then you'll be able to repeat the same process again. We're going to look at the Nikkei 225 on this video. This will be the first example that we will look at. Now, the Nikkei 225 is a part of the indices. This is the Japanese market, and this market specifically gauges the value of several businesses, of all the businesses that are registered in that index in the country of Japan, right? Now um, we were able to gain, okay, 984,000 984,400 points. Now, depending on what market you're dealing with, if you're in the Forex, then it'll be pips, but that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Now, imagine if each of these points were worth $1 in value, then that would be close to $1 million that you would gain. And if each of those points were worth $10 in value, you get the picture. So we pretty much produce a very nice amount of points, and we're gonna actually look into the charts and see how we were able to do that, but more importantly, understand the principle behind what you're about to learn. This is very important. Bear with me. This is for your benefit. So let's close this slideshow here and let us go into, I like to call this my laboratory. Now here we have several trades dated at different times. But one thing I want to first point out is the dates, the days. These are all organized according to duration. This is the first point I want you to actually visually see. That 365 to 225, or 224, I should say. So these are long durations. That's the first thing I want to bring your attention to, so that you can understand and it will start to sink in more clearly why this actually works. Now, this is a website called MyFXBook. It's a third-party company that pretty much analyzes all the trades you place in your account. I talk about this quite a lot. We also have it on all of our account management members, and we have all of their accounts plugged in, and they pretty much analyze everything for you. Okay, so this is all analyzed by computers, and they tell you all this, this information here. Okay, so the next thing I want you to take a look at, the different amount of percentages that you can gain. Different percentages. It all varies. Some people ask, well, how much money can I make? It just all depends. But if you take the long-term strategy, you'll be able to be at least 98% accurate. It's a very high accuracy rate when you're holding long term, especially according to our strategy. Keep that in mind. According to our strategy, if you hold long term, The accuracy is extremely high. And this is the point of this series, not to show you the MT4 accounts, not to show you all of the pips that we're making and all of our trades. No, I want to now dive deeper. This is all a part of our Win University course and the different courses that we will be presenting. I will be diving deep and teaching you, giving you understanding, because there's a lack of understanding. And without that, without that, it's meaningless. Because by the time you reach again to the fourth point, by the time you reach to the fourth point, like I said here, by the time you reach here, you most people here end up giving up because of a lack of understanding, because of a lack of holding on through the market movements, because they lack to realize that they're going to reach their final goal. So another thing I want you to look at is, I know some of you guys looking at the net profit. This is a Bitcoin account. So I know some of you guys go, wait a minute, that's a little off here. This is not this is all in Bitcoin. So these are bits, not US dollars. So that's another thing I want you to take into consideration. But another important thing we're going to look into, one more thing here. So you can see some of these are in red. We're going to have video discussions on that, so stay tuned. And you'll see that for the most part, even on the outset, you can see the majority of these have been successful, with the exception of a few, and I'll talk about why that is. There are reasons behind that, and I'll talk about that when that time comes. When that time comes, I'll talk about that. So now, let's get right in to the Nikkei 225, and so now we're gonna go to Trading View. And I have the Nikkei open already, but let's take a look at the specific dates that we want to focus in on. So we have March 31st, 2020, which is the open date. That was the date that the this specific trade was placed. So I mean, March 31st might as well just be same as April. Okay, April 1st or whatever. So from April 1st to about April 1st, 2020 to 2021. Okay, so we bought it at the price of 19,364. So let's go ahead and chart this out so we can get a visual understanding. So we're looking at this chart, and we're looking at it from the monthly standpoint, the monthly view here. And from the monthly view, what we're going to do is now go ahead and get a rectangle tool and look for April 2020. And we found the line here. And I'll go ahead and start drawing the square up until April 2021. So that's right there. Okay. So this is the area that we will be focusing on. Okay. Now, in fact, since we already know the area where it is, we're going to now expand this just a little bit, just so I can be able to draw some arrows there. Okay, so this is the area that we're going to be focusing on. As you can already see, now remember, we're looking in retrospect, so we're looking back into time. It's different when we're looking forward, because if you're looking here, you might say, oh, where is it going to be heading? Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? And that's where, if you want to know that, you have to do some um, extra studying, and that's where our strategy comes in. But let's look back into time and see what happened, and how our strategy was able to successfully know what to do and successfully produce what was the amount of pips? I think it was 98,000. I'm sorry, 984,000 points. All right, with this asset, with this particular asset. Okay, so let's go ahead and also get an arrow so we can kind of get a visual from a points perspective. and the open price that we traded was 19,364. And so let's look here, and you're going to keep your eye here on this area. That's where the prices are. So 19,234. Okay, that's close enough. Okay, so we'll mark it here. Okay, so this is also April 1st, or April 2020. And you can see our close price. Let me just go ahead and draw the arrow, and then I'll adjust the close price. So the close price was 29,208. So let's go ahead and find out where that is. 29, 29, 29. Okay, somewhere around that area there. Okay, so all right, so we see that this is true. That what happened here on March 31st was absolutely correct. We went the right way. We made the right move, and we were able to close it 365 days later, and we were able to profit based on those amount of points that were gained. Okay, so that's very, very important to note that somewhere here from this range. All right, so we were able to profit a considerable amount. Now I'm going to close out on this video because there's a lot more to talk about, and this is more of an introduction video, and I definitely talked quite a bit for an introduction. So stay tuned for the next video that will be coming out. And once again, this is Gabriel, the Forex Helper, and thank you for your time.